Hello guys, exotic wall finishes here at the Sexywalls podcast with a special guest, Granda Law Firm. So here's Stephanie. Hello Stephanie.
Hello.
So Stephanie, aka wifey, aka boss chick, you know. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
having me.
So basically, Stephanie, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Stephanie Granda. I'm a family and real estate attorney here in Miami, Florida. I have my own law practice. I've been practicing now. I'm on my 19th year of practice. My office is Law Offices of Granda and Associates PA. We have a team of women that work very hard for our clients, and we handle their divorces, and I also handle real estate transaction closings.
So when attorneys say family law, I'm family law, what does that mean? What bracket does that put or the law part?
That's a great question. So family law is a pretty big area. Some people don't do every type of family law, but what I particularly concentrate in is divorces, paternity cases. Paternity cases are when a man and a woman have a child, but they're not legally married. So they have a child in common. That would be considered a paternity custody action that I would file. I also handle any post-judgment family law matters. So what that normally is, it's if someone's already been divorced or custody has already been determined, then I can go back and file a petition to modify if there are grounds to file a petition to modify. I also handle child support related issues within the family law umbrella. And lastly, if you're thinking of getting married and you wish to do a prenuptial agreement or a postnuptial agreement after you're married, I can also do that for you.
So let me ask you a question. So basically, what is the most popular part in family law? So what keeps you super busy?
So in the family law area, I think both divorces and paternity cases. Now there's been, I would say the last 5 years, there's been an uptrend in paternity cases. I feel, at least, you know, in my professional opinion, that people are getting married less. So there's more out of wedlock babies being born. So I tend to do a lot of paternity cases.
And this is, what's more your clientele, male or female? What's like normal?
I wouldn't say I have one or the other. I've represented both. Generally, I get a lot of referral-based clients or people who find me on the internet. So I wouldn't say I represent more men or more women. It's pretty equally the same.
Got it. Is there like any how do you handle this? Okay. Sad stories when they're telling you something so like, oh, I got beat up all my life, or I got raped, or this or that. How do you handle that mentally, and then you go home to your kids and to me and all that? How does that work mentally for somebody like you? How strong do you have to be for that?
I think you have to be strong. It does take a toll. You know, it takes a toll. But I think since I've been doing it for so long, I've seen so many different types of cases that it doesn't shock me anymore what I hear. I do empathize and I feel bad for the person's situation, but I do a good job of separating like my personal feelings, you know, over what, you know, the situation is.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand that when they're saying, okay, I do this for work or do that. They don't understand the concept. Like, my brother has a friend who's a sex therapy. So here you're thinking, oh my gosh, like you talk about sex and all that. So he goes, I said, so what's I would love to have you on the podcast. Just for you to know, Steven. He goes, remember, it's not a glamour. My main customers, my main clients are from judges and courts that put child rapists with us, that they have they're mentally ill, that they need to have sex, and they go rape kids, rape women, rape guys, rape dogs, stuff like that. And that's his job. He says, you know what it is to sit down and talk to these people, and you have to try to fix them. His main job is from court judges sending people to help them. That's crazy. So a lot of people don't understand that, like in this line of work, you could get all types of stuff, from the glamour part or the negative part. And that's the craziest part that people don't understand. All right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's sometimes, I'll come home and I'll tell you a story. There are times that, it does take a toll on me, or I feel for the situation. What sets me apart from most attorneys is that not only do I come from a divorced family, my parents were divorced, but I'm also divorced, so I'm able to understand. And I have children also from a divorce situation, so I understand when they come to me how they feel. I know what they're going through, what they've gone through, and I know what the kids are going through coming from a divorce setting. So it's it does take a toll, but I'm able to help them, because that's really my goal in these cases, are not only to represent them vigorously, but it's also to be there for them in the process, because it's a very difficult, even if it's a paternity case, those are actually the hardest, because one parent hasn't been able to see the children for a long period of time. Most of my clients are like that, and that is the most difficult thing for them. So I help them throughout the process to try to facilitate how they're feeling.
And that's important, because even with my divorce, I needed an attorney, because when we got divorced, the mother didn't want me to see the kids and took the kids away from me, and I had to get an attorney and fight for that myself, and I didn't have money, I didn't have anything, I didn't have backing, I didn't have anything. So an attorney always helps with that. So people that are struggling out there, that the mother or the father doesn't let you see the child, this is how you get help. Getting a professional who does this for a living to make sure that you can see your kid. It's super important.
Yeah, I even recommend that even if the parties are getting along, I recommend always hire an attorney to review the document, to give you legal advice, because what happens sometimes is that after the fact, I see it 90% of the time, there's something that was either missing, or there was a term that they didn't really understand, or they didn't really know, and later they come to me and they want to fix these problems, and it makes it a little bit harder to do it after the fact. It would be easier if I had the case from the very beginning, because I could guide them and explain to them what their rights are.
What happens when people lie? When the mother lies, he's this, he's that, he's done that, take away the kid, or vice versa. The father says she does this, she does that, and it's not true. How do you clear that up so they could fix their life back on track and see their child and all that?
Most of these cases are based off of allegations. One party is going to say one thing about the other party is going to say another thing. Going to court and providing the evidence, either of, if the mom made an allegation and the dad is saying that's not true, then you go to court. Does the mom have a basis for the allegation, and how can you dispute that allegation? That's really how these cases work. It's who has the better case and who has the evidence. I always tell my clients, text messages, communication, emails, it's very important that they keep the communications very positive, because the courts are using those as evidence to demonstrate whether there's a lack of capacity of communication, or whether one person really has a problem in making parental decisions on behalf of the children, and that can be used. I just had a case, recently this past week, where because of the lack of communication between the parties, now the other party is taking the husband back to court. It happens, so be very careful in how you communicate, and if you're gonna have a conversation, do it, on the phone, in person, because sometimes text messages also, people don't interpret them the same way as they're reading it. So I definitely recommend, just be careful what you're communicating in writing.
So guys, I want you to notice this whole time she's talking, you hear the confidence, you hear how she speaks. It's a natural flow. It's like when you ask me about Venetian plaster, it's a natural flow. So my objective of saying that is, when you're sick, what do? You go to the doctor, and the doctor helps you. When you have a problem with some type, you have car problems, you go to a car mechanic. When you have legal problems, from a divorce or whatever it is, you go to someone like this, a family law attorney, to help you out, help you bring your life back together. So I think it's super important to hire a professional in any aspect of your life. If it's this or that, this, if you need new floors, hire a professional to do your floors. Don't get somebody from the streets. You need some Venetian plaster, you hire a professional to do it, because how they say it in Spanish, que sale barato, sale caro, right? And
Lo que sale barato, sale
yeah,
caro.
that means if you're paying cheap, it's costing you more money, But any last words you want to say to the viewers?
No, if you have any questions pertaining to any family related case, or if you're buying or selling a home and you wish to hire me to be your real estate attorney, contact my office. I have an Instagram page, Granda Law Miami. I also have a Facebook page, and you can contact my office at 305-595-4011.
Guys, thank you so much for watching Exotic Wall Finishes with Granda Law.
Thank you for
Stephanie.
having me.
Thank you for coming and spending some time here with us at the Sexywalls podcast. Stay tuned for the next show.